What is one fact you know that will make other people respond with, and why the FK do you know that? Men have a scar from their taint all the way to the head of the PP that is caused due to the closing of the vagina during development in the uterus. Strippers have to pay to work at their clubs. Usually they have to also pay the house mom and DJ. Every private room they book, 20% minus 30% goes to the house. A lot of dancers will also wear watches while working to make sure they're not spending too much time with one person, if they're not getting paid properly, since they can't carry their phones around. Geese are immune to pepper spray. Spicy things in general expel capsaicin, which receptors on most mammals pick up on and send signals to the brain that something hot is touching us. Geese lack these receptors, and thus pepper spraying them will only enrage them. Japanese brothels often operate as restaurants. So you basically pay around $100 for some crackers and green tea. Everything else is just voluntary service. Flatworms are dual gendered and mate by fencing with their penises. The winner is the one that penetrates the other's skin first. Some species have 2 penises. It takes about 5-6 hours in a boiling lye bath to fully dissolve a body. Less if the pot you're using has a pressure cooker attachment. All you'll be left with is bone shadows, little undissolved bits of calcium that can be crushed, and a pinkish grey slurry that can be neutralized with vinegar so it can be safely dumped. Edit: I learned about this from disposing of deer carcasses. After harvesting the usable meat, we take the offal and bones, pop the joints and chuck them in the pot. Let it go outside for a few hours. Then discreetly dispose of the slurry. A bee's testicles explode when they mate. Edit: as many people are pointing this out, I will add that the explosion is loud enough it can be heard. Edit number 2. Their PP is also blown off by the explosion and occasionally gets stuck in the queen. Courtesy of Media. Edit number 3. Grammar cause Reddit ain't frickin' around. When you're in an enclosed airtight space, you don't die because of lack of oxygen, but rather because of carbon dioxide poisoning. It induces anxiety, panic, reduces your ability to make rational decisions. Think Apollo 13. It's a pretty poopty way to go. Edit: forgot to add that you're the one producing the poison killing you. Wombats naturally crap out cube-shaped poop. Scientists think it's so they can stack it to mark their territory without it rolling away. A corpse can have an erection. It is called angel lust or death erection. Rock hyraxes are not rodents, but are closely related to elephants. They appear very similar to marmots, a rodent, due to convergent evolution by filling a similar ecological niche. I rattled this off at work one day and someone really asked me exactly the title of this post. Wikipedia is the answer. Broccoli and cauliflower are man-made. It was carefully bred by Italian farmers more than 2,000 years ago, carefully breeding different types of wild cabbage to create it. Sometimes, when horses are bored, they slap their PP to their underside to masturbate. Costco has spent hundreds of millions developing factories just so they can continue to offer their hot dog and soda combo for $1.50 and their rotisserie chicken for $4.99. You know how fireflies use their lights to indicate they want to mate with each other? Well, the females sometimes bait the males into coming over using the mating pattern, just so they can eat them. Men who die by hanging sometimes special goo in the process. Many species of sea cucumbers have evolved to have teeth in their anus to ward off potential inhabitants. Australian box jellyfish have 64 anuses. Before kale became a popular health food, the largest consumer of kale was Pizza Hut. They bought it to ring the salad bar. More just nifty animal facts. Squids have a donut-shaped brain with their esophagus running through the middle. If they swallow too big of a bite, they can give themselves brain damage. I have an honorable mention. It was one of those facts I heard as a kid and for some reason I just want it to be true. Dog saliva has a boiling point much higher than human saliva. About 1 girl out of 100. 000 will have the vaginal and anal tracts fused together. Meaning that they can in fact get pregnant doing anal. Most cruise ships are equipped with a morgue to account for any passengers who die during the voyage. Pigs with a prolapsed anus are at risk of being eaten by other pigs. Those tiny fake flowers in little glass vases at the gas station are less about the flowers and more about the glass, which can be used as a crack pipe. This is something my bio teacher taught me last year. Basically, male barnacles have the longest PP to body ratio, and the PP actually extends out of the barnacle and goes searching around for female barnacles to have hanky-panky with. It takes 2-3 days to cremate a body on a standard bonfire. Edit. So I've never had a comment get such an insane number of upvotes and replies before. Not even close. Wow. A lot of people are asking how I know this. So I figured I'd explain. I studied for a rather specific master's degree around psychological trauma. It was particularly pertinent to the army. So within our small class were a few officers from the army being sent to touch up their learning. One of them was an army doctor who had been with them for more than 30 years. Can't remember exactly how the conversation got to this point, but he made some quip about having to burn a body. And it taking 2 or 3 days to burn on a bonfire. We asked him why he was burning a body. And his only response was we weren't allowed to bury it. We never could convince him to elaborate further. It turned out that one of his deployments was to Rwanda as part of Operation Gabriel immediately after the genocide. If I had to guess, it might have been something to do with that. When dealing with more than 1 million dead bodies, many were likely never identified or claimed by next of kin. And perhaps for some reason this one couldn't be buried with the others? Again, this is purely speculation, so take it with a pinch of salt. Grey whale couples need a third whale to act as a brace while they mate so they don't float apart midway through. You can hang yourself in 3 ways: rope really short, suffocation medium length rope, breakneck really long rope, decapitation. Yep. Human poop has a distinct smell that's different from other commonly encountered poops. The most babies born to one woman is 69 in the 1700s. Regarding the Museum of Mummies, Ferdinand I of Naples governed by oppression. He had zero compassion for his defeated enemies. And after falsely promising them amnesty, he had them murdered instead. After their murders, he would have them mummified and added to his museum of mummies dressed in their clothes. If he thought anyone was plotting against him, he'd simply take them on a casual tour of the museum, which was totally morbid, but effective. Cats like the taste of earwax. Since frogs have long tongues, they can't use it to push food down their throat like humans do. So when they have food in their mouths, they close their eyes and push the food down their throats with their eyeballs. In 2006, a Coca-Cola employers tried to sell secrets to Pepsi. Pepsi told Coca-Cola about it. It takes more than 6 standard concrete blocks to hold a human body underwater after death. Vibrators were the 5th domestic electrical device invented. Edit. Saw it in a documentary called Original Sin Hanky Panky on Hotstar. If you wanna check it out. Most birds don't have intermittent reproductive organs, like a pee or vagina, and they share their genes through a hole, called a cloaca, that leads to their inner organs. The act is called a cloacal kiss and is over super fast. Most duck species, however, do have intermittent organs. The pee is shaped like a corkscrew and can be 50% or more of the length if the duck in some species. This is because the vagina is an elaborate maze of twists and turns, creating an evolutionary arms race between the sexes. The longest duck pee award goes to the Argentine lake duck, though he is a mere 15 inches long. His dangling corkscrew is up to 16 inches erect. Now that's gotta produce some drag. Edit. Should be intermittent. Thanks Faustus for pointing that out. Edit 2. People seem to struggle with the why females resist mating. Much like humans. Female ducks like to choose the best male to reproduce with. They will make themselves available to the males they prefer, and this mechanism allows them to resist advances from the males they don't deem worthy. The longest recorded piece of poop is 26 feet long. A typical ejaculation consists of 1 calorie. Edit. If you swallow the semen, it will give you 1 calorie. You do not burn 1 calorie. Why is goose geese but moose is not meese? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goose has Germanic origins and thus follows the Germanic pluralization in the same manner as foot to feet, tooth to teeth, etc. However, the word moose was incorporated into the English language some 200 years later and has Native American origins. Yay. The human body can literally expel feces out of your mouth instead of your ass. Male echidnas have a 4-headed penis. Mammals from house cats to elephants take about the same time to urinate. Ireland's rail gauge is slightly wider than the international standard, yet its tram system uses the international standard. The largest walnut grove in the world is located outside the small village of Arslanbob, in mountainous southern Kyrgyzstan. Local oral legend has it the grove was planted by a migrant wise man nicknamed Arslan the Wanderer. DNA analysis of the trees has confirmed they are not native to the region, and the local population came to the area from a related batch of seeds about 1000 years ago. After Alois Alzheimer gave the first ever speech describing the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, no one in the audience asked him any questions or made any follow-up comments, because they were all much more excited to hear the next guy on the list give a speech about compulsive masturbation. Rubbing alcohol is a great way to get the smell of smeared poop out of skin. Erections that last more than 4 hours are considered bad because the buildup of deoxygenated blood causes the PP to be disfigured and later cause gangrene. When the Pilgrims first landed in America, they found these weird dirt mounds in a field. So they dug them up and discovered they were Native American graves. Oops. They returned everything, but then came back later to take the cooking pots and utensils that had been buried with the corpses. They apparently packed really light on the way over and didn't bring basic household essentials, which would be really useful in, oh I don't know, starting a fricking colony. The slitting of the front of the throat is much more improbable than most people realize, given a bone is actually blocking the spot that most see in movies, TV shows. If, in fact, a movie wanted to be more realistic, they would instead have the sides of the throat slit because of the main artery that sits in that spot. Don't buy rabbit already skinned and damp, gutted. Could well be cat. They look really similar if it's already skinned. You need to see the kitten is to tell. They're installed in a different config. Second, don't make risky meat purchases from a Sunday market trailer in a shady part of town. Open the guts of a body before disposing in water so they won't inflate and are able to sink all the way to the bottom. The Nazis bled Soviet children dry to provide blood transfusions for injured troops. Padlocks in Europe often have tighter keyways than American ones and required thinner pieces of metal to pick. Butterflies taste with their hind feet. Anybody who has ever had to write a paper knows what 12-point font is. This point system relates to measurements for fonts, type, and certain design elements. 12 points go into 1 pica, and 6 pica go into 1 inch. While sizes vary from font to font even within the relative standardization of font sizes. If you need font that is about 1 inch tall, you want 72-point font. Because 6 pica times 12 points is 72. For 2-inch font, 144. For 3-inch font 216. And so on. Edit, pica. Not pix as my comment said originally. Pica. Stupid autocorrect. Male moths can vibrate their testicles at will to throw off bats. Edit. Oh wow, my first gold, thanks guys. Did not expect this comment to get me one, but here I am. A human head is still alive for about 10 seconds after decapitation. MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case their pants split during a game. When all humans are made, they start with the asshole instead of a penis. Male sharks have two claspers. They are made of the same cartilage as their skeleton and also attached to their pelvis. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I can't believe my highest rated comment is about shark peepees. The reason why Egyptian mummies are so rare nowadays is because the Europeans ate them. They believed that eating a mummy would have medicinal benefits and the spirit of the person they consumed would watch over and protect them. In Pennsylvania, it is illegal to sleep on top of a refrigerator at night. If you want to skin a human alive, you have to do it in a warm room, otherwise he will die of the cold because his skin doesn't isolate him anymore. The world's youngest mom was 5. Edit. She was impregnated at 4. Hey you. Thanks for watching Reddit stories. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting like and subscribing. Your support means a lot. We also have a Discord community where we will be running giveaways and fun surprises throughout the year. Come along and meet some new friends. You look great today.